This is day 888, 888 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Sponsor Commission Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please contact me directly. We very greatly appreciate it. They're doing Tim and Tuf Kuf Pei Daled Aleph to Tuf Kuf Pei Hey Zayin. Sorry. Okay, the Tuf Kuf Pei Daled. Say the Kriyas Tov Rosh Hashanah, the laning on Rosh Hashanah. Aleph Shachris Nichosim Beis Haknes Bashkama. Morning Rosh Hashanah, come to shul early. Masadim Azmios Kumachol Yantav. Say Psukim Zimra, all like every Yantav Minagel Mashir Yichud Banim Zir Shir Shayom Kon Matfila. I think in the Machzor it's still there, but I'm not sure how many kilos still do that. Vashatz Lo Beish Hakitul Maso Don Olam Rigon Shalom Yor No Roim. Tzibur puts on the kittul even for Psukim Zimra. It says Adon Olam in the Nigun of Yom Neroim. Became a brachas Psukim Zimra Adam Melech Yoshev. Then there comes another shtel tzibur. Menage Makom. He starts the nigun in his spot. Nigun muyam with the awe-inspiring nigun of Yom Noraim, which is a word for muyam, but I'm blanking out right now. Threatening nigun, I think. Same Hamelch B'Kol finishes Hamelch out loud. He goes, just like Marav, Borim Putim, Kol Makom Fimi Hokom. There are places to still say Putim, each place going to its minhag. Shiva's mostly eliminated them. Also, a lot of shuls. And when it's a weekday, we say after the Avin Shachris, and we have been Makenu Chotan Fanecha. We don't say Abinu Makenu Chotan Fanecha, although Mishabura is Yashiv, what the custom that we have, most people have to say. If you do say, you're supposed to say it silently. Lokas Fein Sefer Mechila, Yislicha, and also not write us in the Sefer of Slicha. V'lo ki ein bonu masim, nirsham b'machzorim ayin sham. Well, we say all these things, but it is in our machzorim, so I don't know. Hakomi Kaishon, then we say Kaishonim, but Shabbos enemy Mabina Makenu. Shabbos don't say Makenu, but Mim Halba, Shabbos Kippur, Nation Din. The days of judgment, so don't say Hal, even though it's Yontav. Even when Rosh Hashanah comes out, Arab Rosh Hashanah comes out, Arab Shabbos. What's going on? Shabbos. I guess the second day Rosh Hashanah comes out. Rav Shabbos for Mincha, we don't say Avinu Malkeinu. And Shar Tzion says Arab Shabbos and Mincha of Shabbos Shuva also. Okay? Mishabura says that those say Tehillim every day, and they happen upon a hollow. Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, they can say that. Obviously, they're saying it, but Torah's Tehillim, not but Torah's hollow. Beis Yesh Lamo Beis Amir Savim Malkeinu should stand when you say Malkeinu Bamim Kalei Kotzaro Mastin Hakaf BePasach. Lamed Betzere Kalei. Bring Slachu Mechal. Mechila go with Slicha. Mechila is a higher level than Slicha. Slicha means from the Salek, to push away. Mechila means to limchok, to erase. And Slicha is for lighter sins. Mechila is for heavier sins, where more of a effort is required. Similarly, Chet is lighter than Pesha, so we go from Chet to Pesha. Can we cry Roa Biachar? We say the words cry Roa together. But saying cry Roa, don't make a half say between cry and Roa. The Yeshmin talking about Roa Gzar Biachar. Those say you have to say cry Roa Gzar. In other words, not a good Gzar. So the first one is the Magen Avram. Second one is the Taz Chenira Ikar. He says that seems to be the primary, and that's what people do. Brings that back. It's V'lai Magen Avram Yeshtos. So first made there's a type of the Magen Avram. Mashkasa Machzis the Shekel Tzorich Ian and Shem whatever the Machzis Shekel wrote. It's unclear. Nachon Arich Betfilos Butim Achatzos. It's best to extend the time of davening until midday. Shabura says if you're davening, but not nigunim. Shabura says if it's on Shabbos, you should not go further than Chatzos. Kimakarim B'tar Beningon Shom in the Roim. Parashas Hashem Bakara Sora. We read that Parasha and Rosh Hashanah. Chamish Kuim, 5 people get Aliyahs. Shabbos Shiva, it's Shabbos, 7 people get Aliyahs. After Pinchas, and you say after Pinchas, Maftir Pinchas, the Yom Chodesh Hashvi. The Navi Brei Shmon, so the Haftorah is Begim Shmuel Vayi Echad Mi Ish Echad Mi Ramasayim right at the beginning. Av Yoram Kem Mashicho, in the middle of the Shiras Chana, is at the end of Shiras Chana. Yeshkim HaTokel Torah, those are called the person blows shofar. For an Aliyah, Yesh L'Shatz, some people call up the Chazan. Wow, Arukh HaShulchan blows no punches. He says, since we sell the aliyos and they go for high amounts, we can't afford to just give out an aliyah to Shli Tzibur or to the Baal Tokea. Fascinating. Okay, realistic. Mishnah Berurah says somebody who's getting paid for the tkiyos and the tefillos, there's no custom to call them up in any event. That which it says that people in prison, we don't bring them Sefer Torah even on Shana Yom Kippur. Akal Shono. These Bar Yofel El Sim and Kuf Lamed Hey Siv Lam has been explained previously. Mela Rosh Hashanah Melina Achar Kriyas Darkon Kriyas Shofar. Bris Mila do after laning before shofar. Shabbos says in Shabbos and no Kriyas Shofar you can do the Mila after Ashrei. And after the Mila and the Brachos you say Hallelu. Those who say that also in Shabbos you do the Mila before Ashrei. Or there shouldn't be a great interruption between Ashrei and Kaddish. In any event, because go back to Arukh HaShulchan, he says to do after Kriyas Torah before Kriyas Shofar, Kach Yishib Rabbeinu Gershom or Goyla. That's what Rabbeinu Gershom said. The ain bris milah ain shofar. Bris milah can't have shofar. But really, I guess the person with shofar has a bris. I'm not sure what he means by that. But the milah gabe shofar mikra tadi. That's I understand. Bris milah relative to shofar is called something which is more prevalent. There's a custom, yes, that the moil does not wipe his mouth after he sucks the blood out of the wound, and he blows with the blood on his mouth. La'ariv dam milah b'mitzvah shofar, in order to mix the blood of milah with the mitzvah of shofar. Mishnah Berurah says that, yeah, but you should wipe your mouth out from the mouth on the outside and also rinse your hands because the honor of the bracha. It's not possible to bring the child to shul. People don't want to go. We wait till they go through and from the house of the child. You're going to have to wait for the meal till after shul is over. Mishnah Berurah says still, if the shul is not so, the house with the bris milah is not so far from the shul, and there won't be such an interruption and as too much tircha the tzibura. It's best to do the milah before the Kriyas Shofar in order to have the schus of milah at the time of the Kriyas Shofar. Tafkuf Behei, Dinei Tkiyos U'Brachasa, the laws of the blowing and the brachos. Aleph, mitzvah Seminat Torah, it is a mitzvah, Litkah Rosh Hashanah b'shofar, to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah. Shnei it says, Yom Truah Yelachem, it should be a day of blowing. Chol Truah, each and every Truah has a Tkiyah L'fanei, Tkiyah Ma'achrei, has a Tkiyah before and after. But Tamo Shel Davar, the reason for this, he's Boya B'Siman Tafkuf, Tafkuf Tzadik. It's going to be clarified later on. We blow twice. Once after Kriya, Musaf and Musaf according to the order of the brachas. There's no Baal Taisis. You're not adding onto the mitzvah. You're adding to the you're adding in the Kiyama mitzvah. Baal Taisis would be if you blew two shofars together. If you lose like a lulav, if you added another species over a Baal Taisis, you'd be violating Baal Taisis. But if you take the lulav, you put it back down, and pick it up again, feel mad upon me even 100 times. Baal Taisis, no Baal Taisis, because you're not adding on anything to the mitzvah, you're doing the mitzvah a few more times. There's no problem with blowing over and over again. Why do they require this? There's no question that we should do the kilos by Muslim. You got the kilos because the primary kilos are the ones according to the order of the brachas, like we saw by Tanesim. So why blow before that? But Gemara says the Arva is in order to confuse the Satan. Perish Rashi Mashal Achabush. It seems from Rashi is the understanding. Came much Sultan Ra Kama Chavim Mitzvah Yisrael. When the Sultan sees how precious mitzvahs are for us, shows in Chazon we do it and we do it again. Mishtating Milamei category, he is silence from prosecuting. But there's a shame Arukh HaShulchan, the Sultan is Bahel. According to this Yushami, the Sultan is frightened. Shemul Shofar Hadlasi, maybe is the shofar of the future. We talk of a shofar in which the great shofar will be blown. And he is so frightened that he has no time to prosecute the Jewish people. Rosh wants to explain this further. So I think this is what it means. Why Malchus Yechonas and Shofar is put into the Musaf Shmonesrei? Good question. Why the Shachris and blow Shachris? Gemara asks, "I raise Visa Makdim mitzvahs. How are they talking about Shachris? Visa Makdimin, people who are diligent to mitzvahs as soon as possible. So it should be a Shachris. But it's a Shas Gzeira Bushanum. Gemara answers, well, there was a decree which compelled them to do it in Musaf. Yushalmi Sham Before Biasabir. The Yisham explains it with greater elaboration. They really used to do Shachris. Actually, goes on them but then they made it the Gzera not to blow. They because the nations thought they're blowing because they have some agenda. So then they pushed off the brachas and the shofar from Shachris to Musaf when evidently the nations were not around checking them out. Even when the Gzera was negated, lower two line even Rosh they did not want to go back again. For Hashem the Kshuru almost recording Kriya Shema with Spalim Mekrim B'Torah B'Chakach Tomim, and he says actually that not that they weren't around, but if they had seen shofar early in the morning, so then they would suspect something's up. But now it's after Shema and davening and laning, and then they blow shofar. Amru, the non-Jews would say the same Hema Asukim. They're involved in their rituals. They're not concerned about it. That's the case. The reason why we blow shofar before Musaf is in Neshu talking with Shachris, they'll say brachas. Because once upon a time they only did by Shachris, according to other brachas. Because of the Gzera, they push them off the Musaf. So therefore, in order not to distance ourselves too much from the original format, Karevat kills Yosef Shachris and make the kills close to Shachris. Yosef has Rizim Akdim mitzvahs and also be from those who are diligent to mitzvahs as early as possible. His skills Koach HaKriyas Torah Kodim Musaf. They made Takana to blow after Kriyas Torah before Musaf. Zeu Ibru Vasatan. This is what confuses Southern. Shura Kama Yisrael's Rizim mitzvahs. He sees how much Am Yisrael is diligent in the mitzvahs. Shabi Shani goes in a name, even though it was decreed on them that they should not blow. The Kamakov nevertheless means Amtzim. We make every effort l'kayim mitzvahs od b'yeser seis yesos to fulfill the mitzvahs with greater fervor and greater strength. Shemikoyim lo yutokim rak pa'amachas. Before they only blew once. After the Gzera we blow twice. The Gamis also the Sultan is frightened. Shema's chus kolos shofars elu. Maybe the merit of these sounds of the shofar, the aviyah shofar will bring about the great shofar. Maybe because the katreg and he cannot prosecute. L'chinami katreg. If he did prosecute, it'd be for naught anyway. Says the Kosh Baruch sees how precious the mitzvahs are. Am Yisrael becoming mitzvahs, how diligent they are in doing the mitzvahs. The minhag is about the stand by the bima where you lay. Since they're made for after Kriyas Torah, they're linked to Kriyas Torah. But the tokei person who's blowing makes the brachas. And the blowing themselves, standing up. Should not lean on anything. You're talking about Yusuf, he blew sitting down. You have to say he's going to anyway. It's not an impediment. I don't think I've seen that, but it says the tzibur can sit even deliberately. Mishnah says now the minhag is for the tzibur to stand. If an individual hears kriyas, however, to be say them, and he's not going to hear them later on the Seder of Brachos. In other words, let's say women only come for 3 to 30 kolos, then the Medina they have to stand. Because the Iker Tkiyah is supposed to be done standing. The reason why you can sit in the first Tkiyah is because you'll stand in the second Tkiyah. If you're only hearing one set, you have to stand for that one set. About Mina Glomar Mizmar Kola Amim Tikukov, we say the capital Mem Zayin Tilim Sheva Pamim 7 times going to Kiyos. Yesh Mehamel Aretz, there's some, they're ignorant people. The Kshelo Ishlimu Sheva Pamim or Min Beis of Kiyos. They finish it 7 times, they do it while they're blowing shofar. The Tzarech Lo Dilam, you have to tell them Shosla, so it's forbidden. It's a hefsek. Come Lishmat Kiyos, they have to hear the Kiyos, Lola Mashula Beis of Kiyos. And we don't not say anything when hearing the Kiyos. Kigam Lamanatseach, Ain't Medina. Saying Natseach is not required. Because Kamashain so cloud, mean they can go in the place where they don't say it all, because they're afraid that people fall behind and say it while they're blowing shofar. Hey, Atokeh Mevarach Baruch Chuli Asher Kishem Sosab Tzvon Lishma Kol Shofar. The mitzvah of the bracha is to hear the voice of a shofar, the sound of a shofar. The mitzvah Yashmir, the mitzvah is to hear. If you blew the shofar and didn't hear, you're not Yotze. The Mishnah says, "B'yever you've made a bracha litkah b'shofar or altkiyah shofar or lishma b'kol shofar, lishma b'kol shofar, not lishma kol shofar, but with a base, lishma kol shofar, and all these versions you yotze b'yever. V'rech shechianu, you can make a shechianu. V'tzibur onim amir shabras. The tzibur says amir and both brachas zarul v'lilamar bracha baruch shmo. And we careful not to say bracha baruch shmo. There's no half-say brachas. It's not required, so therefore it's an interruption. Even the Tokeh was already Yotzei. The Barshtei Brachos Elo Tziyah makes these 2 brachos Mimotzi for anybody who's being hearing it now. If the Yosef Tov Yasher Shemei Varchem Lo Tokeh, it'd be better for the person listening to hearing the Tkiyos to make the bracha, not Tokeh. Kim Shkar Yotzi Dechavos, because the Tokeh was already, the person blowing was already Yotzei. Frat Birchas Shechianu, especially Birchas Shechianu, would be appropriate for the person hearing to make that bracha. So I can make Shechianu twice. Elishena Minakain. That's not the minhag. I'm blowing for another group. Baal Tokeh usually makes both brachas. The Mishnah Berurah says that the Achronim say that with the Tokeh was already Yotzei himself, it's best that the people listening should make the bracha themselves, both brachas, unless they don't know how to make the bracha themselves. Sharatzina says when there are less than 10 people listening, also it's best that every person make a bracha for himself. When there are 10, one can be motzi all over the bracha, or not distinguish between big tzibur and small tzibur. Anyway, back to Arukh HaShulchan. We're blowing for an individual. Such as be sick. It's better if the person listening should makes the bracha. When it's a tzibur, it says Ma'il Brovam Hadras Melech. So we can look at about we can have justified about doing it for that purpose, but if there is no tzibur, less than 10, so then if there's no rovam, it would be appropriate for the people to make the brachas themselves. Especially if he's blowing for one woman, or even many women who don't have a din of tzibur, shem term shofar, they're exempt from shofar mikra din. Shemitzvah say shazman gram and nashim b'turos, it's a time-bound mitzvah when we're exempt. Shem mechayvos es hatzmon, but they obligate themselves. So it's best that they blow the show, they make the brachas themselves. Not the person blowing for them. Unless he himself also is not yotze. Vav. V'yitka tashrat shlosh pamim. We do tkiyah shvarim chua. Tkiyah 3 times. Tashat tkiyah shvarim chua. Shlosh pamim 3 times. Tarat tkiyah chua. Tkiyah shlosh pamim 3 times. The time is by saying tav kub tzadik ayin sham is going to be explained later on. Even though it's Yiratzon print in the siddur, you're not supposed to verbalize it. You're not supposed to say it out loud. It's a hepsek. You should be quiet all the time until after the last set. Not like printed in the mouser. It's best to blow on the right side of the mouth if possible, not the left side. The mean more rachmin was small thing because right always indicates mercy and left judgment. Those who say the iter yitka b'tzad small. So say that lefties like myself should blow on the left side. Shemindi day doing tefillin, because that's our right side. Just like tefillin. The davar tamuhu. This is astonishing to say. Kemach also said we should rob him, since he's doing it for the masses, some not just for himself. Yeshlach achar yom in the rabbim. Should go after the right of the assembled of the more people, which unless you have a tzibur of lefties, is the right. Bush writes it's not clear that it was talking about a lefty or righty too. It sounds like it doesn't make a difference. That it's better to blow on the left side. In any event, the custom is usually blow on the right side, but obviously blow on the left side, you're yotze. Actually, the shovel people malamat. You should hold the shovel with its out mouth a bit facing up. Shame Allah looking Bishwa because the Pasuk says God was went up with the Trua. There's no impediment here, and whichever way you do it, you're yotze. We should stop it. So he's not sure if you're not to blow a bracha. He blows without a bracha. Brachas ain't makus because the brachas are not required. Yom Sheni ain't certainly tkoa. That's why the first day was the subject of Raisa for a male. Second day was Havis fake the Rabbanon. So if you're not sure if it's okay now, you don't have to be tokeh. Vein Sav is very, very rare suffix to have. Zayin, it means a person, the Baal Tokeh, so often happens, much more often than people realize. The Baal Tokeh started blowing, and he can't complete the 100 kolos. Yashim Achel Smach Birchas Rishon, somebody else should complete them, relying on the first person's bracha. You may have to go to the bullpen several times. The Davkisha Tokim Achronim Ayusham Yishas Bracha, but specifically when the last bracha Tokim were there when the bracha was made. And if not, so going to have to make a bracha. Not only that, I feel beer cloud. Even if he couldn't do even the first kia, but after he made the brachas. Love the brachas of Tal, it's not brachas Tal because it's made for the tzibur. The kriya acher are brachas sharish, and somebody else can blow based on the brachas of the first person to get up there. Shatzim brings opinions if in these circumstances the first guy made the brachas allowed to leave the shul without even hearing one tkiya. Because yes, he made the bracha to be motzi the tzibur, but maybe on the other hand, he has to hear it himself to be part of the tzibur. Okay, it doesn't resolve that. Normally, if we had one sif, when we have one sif left, in this case ches, we'd finish the simon, even though it's not part of the schedule, but it's a long sif, so we'll leave it for tomorrow.